You're dealing with an entity that's very good at covering up.
At 8 o'clock in the morning, I received a phone call from a deputy saying that there had been an incident at the county jail and that I needed to get to the hospital right away.
There were some apparent words exchanged, and Justin was thrown into the hole. Justin never came out of the hole. Justin died in the hole of the transition center.
The family gets there within 30 minutes of his demise. He died on the ventilator due to a staph infection that had categorically been not treated at all.
There's only 2 companies controlling the healthcare in all the prisons in this country. And they are gruesome. It's horrific. It's the worst healthcare ever. These are human rights abuses.
My name is Karen Russo. I am president and founder of the Wrongful Death and Injury Institute, a consulting firm that fights for the lives of those who are sick, those who are dying, and those who have died within the U.S. jail and prison system, hospitals and nursing homes across the country.
My old son. This is Brian. He's the love of my life, my boy.
And this is my son, Justin, my firstborn son, my most precious, precious child.
And that night, that guy just kept literally crying. I'm in pain, I'm hurting, I'm hurting, I'm hurting. And all they gave me was Tylenols. I got off of that shift that night about 11 o'clock. The next day that I returned, he was dead. He died.
I mean, that's my mom 20 years ago, and she was gorgeous. She's holding my daughter.
We spent the next 10 days in the CCU unit. And then at the end of those 10 days, his father and I made the decision, a decision no parent should ever make, to turn off the life support system.
The most unsettling part for me was that the guys inside of Clayton who I can't tell you that what I would pray for was protection for my son from what I thought was who might harm him, was the other guys. What I found was they all have each other's backs because the people they needed protection from were guards.
To save on cost, they would rather parole you than treat you. And if you can find, as a prisoner, if you can find medical care and you get better, then they revoke your parole and they bring you back to prison.
The goal since the 70s and continuing on to date is one of cost containment. And that cost containment is aggressively and relentlessly pursued and achieved by giving the facade of healthcare without ever providing it.
Karen from the Wrongful Death Institute has a gift, and she's on a mission to empower people, to educate people, to make them aware of the ins and outs of the system. I'm very thankful for Karen and the Wrongful Death Institute.
And so I emailed Karen, who runs the Institute, and I think I have the most fascinating story ever. And she calls me, and she's basically finishing my sentences. She's seen this repeatedly, over and over again.
If I had known then what I know now, what I've learned, especially from Karen at the Wrongful Death Institute, I probably would have made some different choices.
Families are overmatched by a system that feeds off of their ignorance, and they are undergunned due to a lack of knowledge, understanding, and information. Your dollars help us educate families on how to deal with that system for the benefit of that inmate. The Institute has the opportunity to do something powerful that has never been done before. We have launched a national campaign to bring awareness to what we do on a much larger scale, and to ask families of inmates and friends of inmates and inmates themselves to lock arms with us in order for us to help you further and more powerfully understand what your medical rights are and how to use them. There are multiple ways individuals can get involved with the Institute to affect change. But one way in which everyone needs to get involved is by donating your dollars to the Institute so we are able to do some key things. Your dollars help us educate families on how to deal with that system for the benefit of that inmate.